Welcome back to another video. This one talking about my 5 tips for catching more cod this summer. And these ones are going to be pretty in-depth, probably my 5 best tips I can think of to do with the environment and the weather conditions when it comes to chasing summer cod. Season starts in under a week, December, January, February, even through to March. We're fishing hot conditions to start the season, and that can really dictate where the fish will be and when they'll feed. And yeah, these are my tips for utilising the best times to be on the water. So we'll start with number 1, and that is use the flow to your advantage. With the heat of summer, early season, it might not be too hot. We can still get cool overnights, but as the season starts to get into that Christmas time and New Year's, the water really starts to heat up, and that can shut the cod down, especially in a lot of the higher up river systems that don't have as much flow, and get affected by the daily temperatures a lot more. So especially the areas I fish, places like the BG, any of the New England stuff, a lot of those rivers are more affected by the lower flows compared to rivers below dams that actually are fed by the dam and often have a lot higher flow, so the water temps will stay a bit further down. So with the flow, if you are fishing a system that gets really hot, the fish that are active and are keen to feed will actually go up into the flow because the water is more oxygenated. Jesus, I can't say that word. Because the water's more oxygenated. So there's more oxygen in that water where the flow's coming in. So if a fish is up in that flow, it's going to be more active and more willing to feed. Whereas if a fish is down in a deeper section of river where there's not much flow, they'll often be sulking and not keen to feed. It's not always the case, but this is one for when particularly in the heat of summer when it gets really hot, you want to start to focus on where those active fish will be, and that's going to be in that flow. This little zone here looks money, but real shallow water. It's funny how the river does this in sections, and it's just drops off right where Ziggy is there. All the fish from this big hole will be just moving up here. Ambush prey. That flow coming into the perfect zone for them. You never know, they might be up having a feed at the moment. We might jag one here. I'd be very, very confident here on low light. Yep, there we go. Oh, that's a good fish. Oh yeah, he's nice. Oh yeah, he's a nice fish. Yeah, no, good fish. We were right, there had to be one there. High 90s metre fish, up in that flow. What are the chances of that, just talking about it? It's, yeah, I didn't get a measurement, but just from the rod, it's definitely over me. It's probably about 110, which for the river is just unbelievable. So sick, I'm bloody stoked. Where I thought he'd be too. Number 2 is focus on our prime times. It's like anything in fishing, dawn and dusk is gonna be your best time, I'd say, with 99% of species, especially in summer when it's warm. So those cod are gonna be at most active on that light change, especially the morning change and the nighttime change. So when that change is happening, it's often coolest part of the day in the morning. So especially when it's really hot, that's going to be your best time to catch a fish. And then in the arvo, especially early season, in the arvo can be really, really good. 1, cooler temperatures, of course, but 2, and probably the biggest one, is fish just love to feed in that change of light. There's something, I don't know what it is, but it just seems to feed. It doesn't matter what the species, the fishing is seems to always be better at that time. So, when you're planning your trips, let's focus on getting out there to fish early in the morning, or let's go out a bit later and make sure we're fishing late arvo into the night. It's really gonna put you in the best chance of catching more fish. If you're fishing right through the middle of summer and through the middle of the day, it can be really tough. Those fish don't like high sun, and they don't like the higher water temperatures when they're really up there in summer. So if you can focus around those times, and even during the night, night fishing's not easy, especially in a river, but it can be a lot more productive, so I would recommend it. He's got me stuck. Oh, he's only little. So yeah, plan your trips around those sessions. You know, if I'm going out for a session, I'll plan it around the morning or the arvo. If I'm going out for multiple days, I'll fish the mornings and the late arvos, and during the middle of the day I'll rest, because, you know, daylight saving, middle of summer, it's not getting dark. You know, that change of light in the arvo isn't between sort of 8 and 9 o'clock at night, and then you're fishing a couple of hours into the night. You're not getting into bed till sort of 11 or 12 o'clock by the time you have a feed. So, and then you're getting up to do it all again at 4:30, 5 o'clock. So on those multi-day trips, yeah, you give yourself a bit of a break over the middle part of the night. But then after that morning session's done, go back to camp, chill out, have a bit of a break, and then be up and going again for the arvo session. So if you focus on those times and be smart about how you allocate the time, you'll definitely have more success. Leads on to number 3, and that is if you are going to fish during the middle of the day, if during the high sun especially, let's say temperatures aren't too hot, high sun, those fish are going to be tight to structure. So we want to be finding those really tight pockets, especially timber or big boulders that provide shade. Shade's key in summer. Anything that provides shade, good size structure, is going to hold fish. And don't be afraid to get in there and really fish it. The tighter you can fish your lures into that space and slower in that space, the more success you'll have. As I touched on earlier, you know, the active fish might be up in the flow, but there will always be fish still down in those really tight pockets. There might not be much flow there, but they will still be there, and you can tempt them to eat. The best ones, the best scenario, is if you got a tight bit of structure, let's say a willow over the river with flow going into it, they're your money spots. If you can get a willow at the bottom of a rapid that's got a bit of depth to it, plenty of shade and plenty of limbs and structure under the water, that is your absolute A1 snag for Murray Cod. They've got everything they need for that summer fishing. They've got flow, good oxygen coming through, they've got shade, and they've got structure. So they're always going to be the best spots, and quite often, if you're out there trying to catch a fish, that's where your most active fish is going to be, so that's where you want to target. So pay attention to those things. You know, the more time you spend down the river, the more you'll start to pick up on this stuff. But if you're out there and you're really thinking about your fishing and thinking, okay, I've got a tree over this side of the river, I'm going to have to cross the river to fish this effectively, and it can change your day. You know, if you're on one side of the river and you've got to really bomb a cast right out to the other side and there's a snag over there, that might not be the best way to approach a snag. The best way might be to cross the river, get close to the snag, and then naturally drop the lure, the bait, into the snag and fish it a lot more naturally, and you can spend more time in the strike zone. Whereas if you're on the other side of the river casting, you've really only got the first 4 winds to get that fish to commit. If you can get in real deep in that snag, you can sit the lure in its face for a lot longer, and a lot more times you'll get commitments out of them. It's also not having the lure land right on top of the snag and putting on a big splash, which, you know, isn't always natural and can definitely spook the more weary and bigger cod. Oh, yep. Oh my God. Oh wow, that was so cool. I'm in a lot of trouble. We managed to get that fish out. He's actually a really nice fish. He'd probably be close to 80 centimetres, that one. In the super tight stuff, doesn't get much better than that. Number 4 is to pay close attention at all times with your eyes. The amount of cod, especially, you know, in the systems I fish, they are nice and clear a lot of the time, and the amount of cod that I've been able to sight cast is just crazy. You wouldn't, you know, when I was growing up, I didn't think it would ever happen that I'd sight cast cod, but the more time you spend down the river and you just keep your eyes peeled, you start to notice more and more, and you pick up on little things. and you will sight cast cod if you pay attention, you know. A lot of times I'll just be burning from spot to spot, you know. Oh, there's nothing here, I'll burn this 500 metre stretch. But the last, you know, few seasons, slowed down and always watching the water as I'm walking, just for little signs, you know. There might be a million carp in the river, but once you get that eye in, you'll see the cod stand out like dog's balls. Carp, they just swim a little bit different to cod. And yeah, it just, you got to have good sunnies, always have them on, and just pay attention. And not only looking for fish, but also looking for snags or rocks, you know, rocks, timber that's submerged that you don't really see. Say it's low light, dark, you can't see it because it's under the water. But if you've got a bit of a vantage point on the bank and you're walking during the sun up, you can spot these things, you know, middle of the river, just off the middle of the river, that don't get fished as much because they're not on the bank and they're not above the water, so you can't see them. So, you know, there's so many good boulders when you walk in the rivers I fish, and I'm just always, they might be a foot under, 2 foot under, and you can't really see them, but if you start to pay attention, you will start to pick them up with your eyes. And all of a sudden, you know, a spot you might have burnt past, you stop and throw a cast behind that boulder and there's just a fish sitting in behind it. So go slower is probably the biggest one. Is just go slower, take your time, and always pay attention with your eyes. I can see one. Look at it, can you see it? You're joking. Yeah. It's not that big, but I'm gonna go walk out there and just drop it in front of it. Oi, I'll literally just teabag it like this. This is gonna be sick if I catch this fish under this tree in the rapids. Did you see it leave? Did it go that way? Oh, it's just here, Got him. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy smokes. This is like sight cast fishing at its finest. Oh, that's the sickest fish I've ever caught. That's insane.
He spun around into the white water and then come back to
He come back to my feet.
Just moseying. I
was like, where'd he go? And then he was dead set a meter, like not even a meter. Sight casted him up in those rapids. No water, literally no water up there. He missed it the first time, was looking for it, then he come in and he was hiding behind my legs and they just dropped it in front of him and he smoked it. It's just insane. It's actually probably another 80 something. Solid fish, real dark. Insane. And the last one, really big one if you really want to start to catch some numbers and make the most of every session you go out, and that is to monitor changing weather conditions. Now, the best time to go fishing is whenever you can. We all know that, and always get out whenever you can. But if you do have the luxury of sort of choosing a time during the week and you can watch and monitor the weather, whenever there's a significant change coming, that is the best time to go Murray cod fishing. Let's say Saturday we're going to get 20 to 40 mil of rain, massive low pressure coming in, windy, just shitty conditions. That Friday and Saturday morning before it hits is going to be absolutely the best time to go. You know, I've had so many sessions over the years now where I don't know what it is exactly. If I did, I'd probably make some money off of it. But there's something about all animal activity is when there's a change coming in, it becomes super active. You look at the ants when there's a storm coming. It filters right through. And when you're out on the water, when you feel those times, you know, 24, 12 hours leading up to a significant event, it just feels right and everything's going off. You see the horses running up and down the paddock. It's, yeah, they are the best times to be out on the river. And if you do have the luxury of predicting when they're going to come and then going out and actually fishing them, that's when you're going to have the most success. So always keep an eye out for that. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much this video done. I just wanted to give you 5 quick tips for fishing this summer. You know, we do get a lot of storms come through summer, so that's, yeah, always pay attention to them. Remember, the water's going to be warmer, so look to fish the prime times around that Either side, you know, low light when the water's not as warm. If the water is super hot, let's look for flow. Shade, super important. Another thing I want to touch on is if when we do catch a big Murray Cod or any Murray Cod for that instance, in the summer, again, water temps are hot, bank temperatures are really hot, air temperatures are hot. We want to make sure we look after them. You know, these fish in the rivers are all wild fish, and we want to look after them as best as we can. So, you know, these days, pretty much every fish I catch, I always get it. If it's summer, I'm straight in the water with it, land in the water, and the only time it ever comes out of the water is to get a quick picture or a video of the fish, and then it goes back in the water. All the hooks are removed, everything's done, measured. If I want to measure it, it's all done in the water. Fish doesn't come out of the water. It's not great for the fish, guys. If you're one of those people that it's very hard, I know, especially when I was younger, and you might be just getting into it, or you catch a PB or something, you don't want to lose it. So your instinct is just to get that fish up on the bank where it can't get away. But it's really detrimental for their health. So if we can, guys, let's just let's all do our best to look after the fish. Get in the water with them. You can. It's the best option, and give yourself a little bit of depth with them too. You know, a lot of places will muddy up a lot, and that's not good for their gills. If you hold, like, you might be in the water with them, but it's all muddy, and that's still not great. Try and get them in a bit of depth in some nice water, and you'll be amazed if you don't rush it with these. You know, the landing process. Once you've got them well hooked, they're generally not going to come off. So don't try and rush it. Don't try and lip grip them or get them with a glove and drag them up on the bank. There's nothing that sort of burns me more than when I see a photo and someone's holding a cod up and it's just covered in sediment and dirt. It's just not good for them. You're taking all their protective slime off. So yeah, you might not think it's the best way to do it, and in the heat of the moment, you just want to land the fish, and I've been there before. It does happen, but if you can, just jump in the water, take your time with them, get them on the lip grips, get them in a glove, get the hooks out in the water, quick photo, send them on its way. Anyway, that's enough for me. Geez, I can't wait for this cod season. I'm really looking forward to it. It's probably the keenest I've been in a long time. Shaping up to be an absolute ripper. So yeah, can't wait. Hope everyone that's going out opening day or opening week or the weekend following has a good session. Good luck to all. Stay safe out there. Plenty of snakes about this time of year. And yeah, look after yourself, look after the fish. Get into it. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you've got something out of it. Any questions regarding that stuff, drop them down below and I'll do my best to answer every question I get. So yeah, cheers for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.